Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Marrocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Disclosures. And we have a special show today that's going to be focused on Cyberpunk 2077, not just so we can talk about a video game. Most of you realize that the video games are soft disclosure. We're going to get right into it with Peter the Insider, and we're going to see whatever it is that we need to see regarding this. And we'll just get started on that. Okay. I'm going to bring in Peter. Hello, Peter. How are you?
Hello. Considering all the weird circumstances, good. Thank you for asking. I just want to say hello to you and to all of our listeners.
Okay. So we're going to start off with Cyberpunk is 2077 is an action role-playing video. So it came out in 2020, I believe, developed and published as by CD Projekt. Anyhow, the story takes place in Night City, and it is an open-world set. It's a universe. Players assume the first-person perspective. That first person, it goes by the name of V, whether you're a male or female, and you acquire skills in hacking, machinery, and the options for melee and ranged combat. So the game was developed by Red Engine 4 by a team around 500 people, exceeding the number that worked in the studio's previous game. And they do bring up The Witcher and the Wild Hunt CD Projekt launched a new division. So that this came out of I don't know how do you say that city name?
Wrocław,
Poland, and partnered with Digitalscapes, NVIDIA, and QLock, and Jolly Research. So, Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith.
Yeah, that's true. Pondsmith.
He's the one that is the designer. And
yeah, that's true. He's the designer.
Okay, we haven't talked about him because we did talk about the other gentleman from Poland. And we have his name. Let's see on the file that I had. But anyhow. So the two of them, so he's the one that came out with the original story. And that goes back to, I don't know, there's Cyberpunk 2013. I don't know what, there was another one before then, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. But technically, fact is that they started development of the game in 2013, and it spread it, and they want to make it, let's say, as best as they can, and it took 7 years for them to do that. But from my point of view, let's say the game is itself is very good. Let's say the storyline is perfect. Most, from my point of view, intriguing stuff is that you as a player, if you are making choices, decisions, all kind of that stuff, it's good. But fact that as those side missions are getting, they became part of the main story, because you can choose a wide variety of paths of the game. Stuff is that game was criticized for lags, bugs, and glitches. They and that's the stuff I don't wanna defend the game for it, because most gamers, wide variety of people, they include gamers community criticize it. Of course, many of them said that it literally ruined the whole gaming experience. Fact is, those glitches, they it wasn't like now the developers completely screwed developing. Uh, they left, I mean, let's say they left them in there, or the product was only half finished or not polished, or call it as you like. No, it's not true. Fact is that those glitches were, lags and bugs there were there on purpose. Do you know what I mean? On purpose, because those stuff should be solid triggers for certain people. They are not people at all, if you want to call it that way, and they are super soldiers and ultra soldiers, just by the way, right? That's it. And the people, they don't get it, they don't realize it, and from my point of view, it's good that they criticize the game. I mean, because of glitches, of course. If I will be gamer, I will criticize it too, but we need to take it from wider aspect, right? And wider aspect is this: that glitches, they don't get rid of glitches, not because they don't want or whatever, or they can't, because it took 7 years to develop the game. Do you know what I mean? And that's the stuff. They left them on purpose. There on purpose. They're in the game. In certain parts of the game. Right? That's it. So, just say me if, I mean, you can continue.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, because this is not just your average game. I mean, it's very futuristic. These are scenarios that play out, and that we have to be concerned about, or have an understanding about, and also the bigger, some of us are involved in this future scenario.
Yes, that's true, and technically we need to get that this is part of soft disclosure, and from my point of view, very and I mean very important part of soft disclosure.
So why don't I kind of give, because this is, like I said, it's a very complex story, so you need to understand that this, they have different scenes, but some of it takes place in the United States.
That's true. Yeah.
But not all of it. But of course, Americans will probably be focused on that, or maybe not. I don't know. But so we have this open world metropolis, Night City, which is in California, and it consists of 6 regions: the corporate city center, an immigrant inhabited Watson, luxurious Westbrook, suburban Haywood, gang-infested Pacifica, and industrial Santo Domingo. Its surrounded area, the Badlands, also can be explored by V and navigates these locations on foot and vehicles, which are subject to either third or first-person view. Pedestrians are vulnerable to vehicular collisions. And depending on the location, law enforcement may be alerted if one V commits a crime. So there's radio stations that are available to listen to. There's full day, night cycle, dynamic weather effect that can, the way the non-player characters behave. V owns an apartment in a garage. Night City features non-English speaking characters whose languages can be translated with special implants.
Yep, that's good. That's very good. And
Yeah.
technically, do you know what? I think that's big pity. That's really bad. How most, because it is obvious that there will be copyright strike, right? That technically even the news, I mean the spoken stuff, you cannot hear via radio, because there is always 24/7 non-stop music, and that will be copyright strike, for music. So most players through the walkthroughs, they completely muted the music, because there will be no videos, that's the stuff. But I think this really, how can I say, like, makes people, they will be watching the walkthroughs or whatever, and gamers itself, it makes a real deal crap, because they want more space, if you want to call it that way, more space for those glitches. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
this is
And-
like that.
And then so the music, and also can be a distraction, or while you're playing, it's an experience. It's like putting the radio on while you're driving, but maybe you might miss some things, or
Yes, you are right.
It adds a different experience, I guess. Then there's this brain dance. It's a device that allows V to undergo other people's experiences. Tell us about the brain dance, because this is kind of interesting.
Brain dance is technically the technical, how can I say it? Technical piece of technology, let's say it that way. But many people are saying, nah, this is piece of technology. It's more software than technology, from my point of view. And once you will load it, because yes, of course, it's technology extension, right? But it allows you to experience, I don't want to say all, but almost all possible options of events you will be facing, or you won't face it. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, I wanna do certain stuff. I don't know. For example, this whole how we can say it, part of main story in Japantown, and all the time once you are doing something, you go to Judy, Judy Alvarez, and she's doing all kind of those quotes in quotes raw brain dances. Do you know what I mean? Like raw format. And it was like, what in the world is happening right here? And that's the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
people.
and
Go ahead.
well, Judy's in charge of that over
Yep.
that specific city. Let's see, she's is it
Judy
Japantown
Alvarez.
that she's over?
No.
No.
I'm saying
Moxie's,
that
is it Moxie's?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So she's over this Lizzie's bar, or Lizzie Moxie
Yes,
Borden.
yes, yes, yes.
And
But
for
she's
people,
weird. She's weirdo from my point of view. I don't
well,
know.
if you're going to have a sexual encounter with her, you have to be a woman. So she's a lesbian.
No, weirdo, I mean weirdo, like, how can I say that? Hmm, she's acting weird. She was acting weird pretty much all the time. And I don't know. Let's say weird from that point of view that her behavior, how can I say it the most acceptable way? Okay, I got it. It's unpredictable. Unpredictable. If you believe or that, okay, I got it. Like, and it is not only quotes in quotes romancing. They are calling it romancing. As you said, intimate stuff. It is not only like that. It is like a to make a friendship, like normal, real deal, romantic friendship, and all of a sudden she start to yell at you or something like that. It's weird. It's goddamn weird. It's like I don't know what the heck. It's not okay with her.
Yeah, so that's I don't know if people know who Lizzie Borden is. She was the one that killed her parents in history. I think it was in
Mm-hmm.
the 1800s. Um,
Technically, yeah, you are right. Just by the way, yeah.
yeah. And so we have I have this information here. I mean, this is general information. They talk about how there's drinks and there's different type of this martial arts, the shooting ranges. It's like a little world that you go into. I don't know. I won't call it Sims, but you're actually in this.
Sorry, but I need to kindly disagree with you. Not a little.
It's a big world, yeah.
Yes, but I mean, yes, technically the main missions, once you want to take it separately, it's kind all the time you are getting into, let's say, even the tiniest part of main mission, you need to dive in deeply into completely whole different new world. Yep, exactly. And that's the reason why it is so interesting. I mean, why the whole game is so interesting. But that's the stuff that people have kind of hard time to understand that this is, let's say, this is part of soft disclosure. The whole game is part of soft disclosure, and I mean, like, what in the world? People don't want. I don't know why they don't want to accept it. Do you have any idea why? Just say me. Just say me why.
No, I mean you can see some parallels of where we're headed to, and this has a lot to do with transhumanism and the whole process of um, what's going on in this world. Um, you know, I'd like to start. I'd like to also do a quick review of the history that leads up to this,
Go
because
ahead.
is that okay, Peter? The history it starts off where in the 1800s there are the two families, the Arasaka family and is it Nagawa family or something like that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so their families in the 1800s, and then there's World War One, World War Two, Cold War. 1989, they create the Gang of Four, which is the CIA, NSA, FBI, DEA, and the Gang of Four work behind the back of the U.S. government. So it starts off with the 1800s. This family in Japan, these families in Japan, and then their involvement with all of these different wars in the background, maybe.
Yes, you are goddamn right. Yep.
Okay, which we people don't ever think about that.
Exactly.
In
Yep.
1990 is the war on drugs. The Soviet takeover, South America collapsed. Chile is attacked by the U.S. and Ecuador. They fire back at the U.S. which leads to a 1993 nuclear bomb in New York City, and 15,000 people get killed. So this is like a timeline that didn't happen but could have, or it happened on another timeline. Peter?
Let me correct you. Another reality.
Okay. So, but you could see that some of this, there's remnants of that here. So in their timeline, in
please let me correct you. It's more, how can I say that, like more precisely, let's call it bleed truths. Okay?
All right.
Let's make it correct, just by the way. Okay?
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like, is bleed throughs.
Yep.
All right, so then after there's a small nuclear bomb that hits New York City in 1993. Then in 1994, if we did a parallel of what was going on in 1993 in New York, I mean, we probably could see some of the bleed throughs there. So in 1994, then the stock market collapsed, and the gangs rise up, the Bloods and the Crips, that lead the fall of America. Well, that happened. Well, it didn't lead to the fall of America, but they did have a presence around that time, and which adds to homelessness, poverty, and assassination of the president and vice president in the U.S.
Yep.
And that's when the mega corporations take over. In 2004, the NSA is behind the death of the president. That's what they find out. But then they drop us back to 1977, and the Gang of Four investigated for about 10 to 20 years. So you see this longer span of the CIA, NSA, and so forth, or FBI being watched.
Exactly. Yep.
1998, there's a 10.5 earthquake, which is a natural event in California, and is it 65,000 are killed?
Yeah, exactly. Approximately like that.
Approximately, and land mass is affected, and there's no federal aid to help these people. So, that hasn't happened on the scale that they talk about here, but, there's always that kind of looming fear because of the
exactly
San Andreas fault.
Exactly.
Also in 1998, the Midwest is a major drought and food supply is very low. And then it brings us to the year 2000, where there's a plague that infects many families. Is that...
Sorry, give me a second. I want to fill in stuff, very important, that technically plague is what we are experiencing right now. And there is this 20-year cycle. Do you know what I mean? Like cycle of getting 20 years back or backwards or forwards. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it is literally like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like,
so you're talking about like the 20-year, like that 20-year super soldier.
Yeah, because technically, despite all the, let's say, crazy modern and perfect technologies, like everything is so advanced, enhanced, all kind of that stuff. 20 years cycle of time traveling is of course, is it is a very old, it's how can I say, like old fashioned, it's all, the technology is old. But once you want to have absolute 100% certainty that it will work, then use 20 years old, 20 years timeline change, or if you want to say like time shift. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like the 20 and back or something.
Yeah. 20 years forward or backwards. Yep. Exactly.
This is interesting that you say that, Peter, because typically we see that as individuals doing a 20 and back, but not a reality.
Once they are, on edge, they don't hesitate to do anything. Because they need to be sure. They need to be sure. Just by the way, you know.
What do you mean? Who needs to be sure?
They who are doing that. You know, this
The 20
like time.
impacts. Yeah.
The corpos, the corporations, they need to be once they need to be sure. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Yep.
Yeah. And I said something to you earlier, and some Americans might disagree with me, but there is a feeling of, because I've grown up on the East Coast and I've been to the West Coast, but I always felt like the Midwest was like 20 years behind in certain regions in time. It was almost like there was like a weird time anomaly. And yeah, I don't know why that is, other than, maybe the coasts are, take in a lot more immigrants and people who are from all different parts of the world where they're sort of isolated in a way. But yeah, so we have that kind of thing going on too, in the United States. But all right, so let's get back to and here's the timeline. Is we're in 2001. They say that there's a world net controlled by the corporations who do studies and analysis on everything that you do. That reminded me of Facebook and some of the social medias. So that's 2001, and they kind of keep on pulling information. And I'm noticing, even like when I go to pay a bill online, everything's like, what's your like the last four letters of your social security number. They're asking more and more personal information, and that's just to pay a bill. So they're data collecting.
It is not respectively. It shouldn't be a big deal. Like, what in the world? Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
like
you're just going to pay a bill. You have your credit card or your bank account number, but then they need all this other stuff. And yeah, they're definitely collecting data for everything.
Yeah, as you said.
Yeah. So this goes into the future systems. This is where they have it. They have tons of data in the future.
Yes, because they need to analyze everything. It's like they are crazy about analyzing stuff. They technically, how can I say, this need for having everything, and I mean literally everything under control, it will, how can I call it, like consume its themselves from inside out. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, they have a need to know everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
In their timeline, in 2002, the corporations have a virus which brings out biological medical warfare. Well, I guess if we looked at it, some of those really weird viruses, I don't know if when I'd have to look at when AIDS came out and some of these others, but yeah,
It was in 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah. Early 80s. Yep.
So what came out in 2002 that might
it was bird flu or
avian flu?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, but that leads up to our present situation.
Absolutely.
With the COVID. Okay, and in 2003...
COVID. I'm calling it COVID because, to be perfectly honest, I want to avoid, let's say, like the problems as much as it is possible, because people are crazy. Like, what in the world? Can we talk about stuff or we can't? Like, it's censorship. Like, screw it. We want to avoid the problems. So. Sorry, you can go ahead.
Okay, and so in their timeline in 2003, U.S. invades Venezuela. Well, we were having some problems with there was definitely some problems in Venezuela going on, but more recently, I don't know what was happening in 2003.
Yeah.
It becomes a disaster because the American soldiers that go down there are left behind or abandoned, and many of them lose their limbs, which creates a need for cyberware to help replace the limbs.
Yep.
And so then it jumps up to 2014 in this timeline, the first corporate war, and that is an orbital air Euro business, orbital war. It's happening up in space, and the Trans-War Airlines, and so that's a 2-year war. So they're warring in space around
Yep.
2014. So now we go back to 2006. The war ends, and then the first clone is grown and cyber limbs to the military. So the war that they're talking about is the Venezuela war, and
Yep, you are right.
yeah.
Not 20, Jessica, let me correct you, please. Not 2014, 2004, and it was because I don't wanna.
They jumped in the timeline from the video. So yes, I agree with you.
It should be like that, but maybe I'm mistaken, so sorry for that.
No, they jumped from 2003 to 2014 for some reason. So I don't know
maybe
why.
Maybe it was mistake. Maybe it was in mistake, but technically it is like 2004, and it ends in 2006. So sorry for that.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Yeah. So in their timeline, 2008, the second corporation war begins. It's over oil and petroleum, or petrol. And then there's a South China Seas orbital war is between the U.S. and China, a conflict in space. So you're looking at 2008. They have a battle over oil and petrol. Okay, so we could see that. And now it wasn't just recently, maybe about a few months back, the South China Sea has been an issue.
That's true.
Right? So that's happening now. And I'm noticing some of these scenarios didn't happen exactly in our time period, but they're sort of bleeding through now. And then, of course, you can see the battle between China and U.S. Not battle, but there's a race to be more present in space. And so then that creates a conflict, which might explain why there's tension between China and the U.S. here. Is maybe there's a conflict there.
Absolutely, you are goddamn right.
In their timeline, 2010, the second corporation war ends. It leads to chaos and opens for other corporations to come in. And it's a dystopian time, a human cloning who are without souls. So they probably look like zombies.
Technically, let me correct you, and let me correct you and fill in the info here. Fact is that they were, how can I say it, filled in, if you want to call it that, the brutal way, with AI, just by the way, you know.
So then they come off as androids, and is this like the FAC?
But yes, only partially, because you know androids, like how can I say it, with more human bodies than original androids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're actually clones.
Yep.
Right now, like I understand why they look so human. Is because essentially that their biology is human, but they're lacking the human soul. So it's creating a weird.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, and then plus they're enhanced by AI, so they're very intelligent.
Yes, and they can fake everything, even feelings, you know, all kind of that stuff.
Yeah.
They can fake it. Yep.
And anyone could be tricked, right?
Anyone, literally anyone. Yeah, that's true. And if someone is saying, nah, this can't happen to me, then he or she is, lying to himself, respectively herself. You know, just go ahead. Sorry.
Is there any clues or anything that would hint to that this individual was actually not human?
Which one?
What could you look for? What might be some of the clues?
Sorry, I was. Do you know what? Actually, it's kind of complicated, almost impossible. There can be those, glow, shining. I don't want to say shining, but like pulsing points on the body. I mean the color. Do you know what I mean? But that's pretty much it.
The eyes look a little
Yes,
not
non-human, but I'm saying, let's say, the certain parts of body are shining, and let's say not shining, but pulsing the color. Like, what the heck is that? This is impossible. Like the tissue under the skin is. Do you know what I mean? Like vibrating the color. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
okay.
That's it, pretty much.
All right. So on 2012, we're getting up in time. There's a bioplague in Chicago, and I think it was around 17,000 people were killed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
And then 2013, there's the company AI Microtech shows up around 2013. Is that around now in our reality?
Microtech?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, so maybe in under another name.
Yeah, maybe.
The year, according to their timeline, 2016, there's a corporate war on the net.
Yeah, that's true. But it's important because internet, it's important part of the reality. Like it or not, it's true. It's true.
In 2017, human cloning becomes self-aware. So now that this is what you were talking about with like cyber life and the clones that were starting to become aware of everything.
Yeah,
and their emotional understanding and so forth.
But okay, let's say, do you really believe they've got emotions? I'm not challenging you. I'm asking, like, what do you think? Did they have an emotion?
They can
emotions. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they can play it off, I guess.
I mean, yes, but I'm just.
Do they actually have them? Yeah, that is a big question. I mean, who's to say what emotions are? Do you have to have a soul to have emotions?
This is it.
Yeah.
Because even there are many people, and I mean really many people, they don't give a whatever about emotions. They have no goddamn clue what emotion is.
Yeah, and well, even look at actors and actresses. I mean, they perform with emotions that they may not necessarily have.
From my point of view, it's like, what in the world? I mean, look at that. Once because it is your job, right? It is your job. And what in the world? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, if you simply start to lose it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what in the world? Like, if it is true or not. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, true emotions or fake ones. Okay, where
almost there.
Stopped.
It's 2017, and also in 2017, mission to Mars with NASA space stations and more orbital wars.
That's true.
So we'd already have space stations there now, right?
Yeah, but let's say hidden space stations. We are talking about hidden space stations. Yep.
Right. In their timeline, 2020 to 2030, Cyberpunk comes in. NASA builds a Mars base called Christ Base. And Arasaka has his fourth corporate war with Militech.
Yeah. That's another part of story, yep.
Then there's a flight to Mars and a launch to Jupiter, and also a mission to Saturn. So they start jumping between, for those 10 years, they start jumping into these different planets. Is any of this true for 2020, 2030?
Yes, that's true.
So there's already.
But give me a second. Not in our reality. In another one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
So
let's say, who knows? I can't say like just like that. I don't have crystal ball. What will be? How can I say it? Which one of them will be? Bleed truth or not, or will become bleed truth or not. I'm just saying it's not okay that all of that stuff happened in their timeline, if you want to call it that way. It's bad.
so the well, we know that there is a base on Mars. What about Jupiter? In our reality, from the ACIO point of view, do we have a presence on Jupiter?
Yep, you've got
Which nations are involved in
pretty
that?
much all the superpowers. Like, do you know what I mean? Like those countries.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Germany, Japan, China,
Yeah,
Russia, U.S.
US. Yeah, exactly. The
Um,
ones.
what
Yeah.
about Saturn?
Yeah, Saturn. All the stuff, those prisons.
Okay, but any of the superpowers involved in that in our
Yeah,
reality?
give me a second. Not just like that, because the problem here. Sorry, there, I'm idiot. And sometimes I said the really stuff like bad stuff. Uh, because the thing is, if you want to call it that way, the thing is that it is universal wide, if you want to call it that way. It's worldwide, so it's universal wide prison. You know,
Right.
that's the problem.
Oh, so people are going there. The soul's going there?
People and souls, both of them. Yep, exactly.
In our from our reality.
Yes, that's true, and that's what is concerning me. Exactly.
To explain why, Peter.
Because once you did such a big bullshit, and I will not watch my language. I mean, such a crazy stuff. You need to be punished that way to go on Saturn. Yeah, bad problem. And it is happening. It is happening. Jeez, it is happening. It's bad.
We're gonna have to talk about that a little more. It's another time.
Maybe. Yep.
Yeah, if we can. All right, so we're getting close. And let's see, we're at 2025. So now we're going forward in beyond our time now.
Yeah.
The fourth corporation war ends. NASA, and then there's a Japanese dictator, Elizabeth Kress.
Yeah.
Where does she come from? She sounds like she has an American name.
Yeah, it's sorry, but it's funny because like what in the world, this is not Japanese name. Fact is that no one knows her actual name. It is crazy. It's some sort of, how can I say, like once you've got actors, actresses, or singers or something like that. So it's, how can I say it, alias? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how can I say it, fake name, but she's crazy, like, doing cruel stuff, like Hitler. I mean, not during the war, but before war, because once people don't know that there will be Second World War, and technically it's the same stuff what Stalin did after Second World War, because it was like technically even before, right? Or during the stuff. But it is the stuff like there wasn't, how can we call it? Certain way of natural respect, right? The respect was fake made by how can I call it in proper way? Spreading. Let's call it. This is the most. How can I say that? The most uh, probable way how to call it. Spreading only one thing, right? Fear. Do you know what I mean? Like people will be killed, all kind of that stuff, and for absolute like pure nonsense. Like what in the world is that? Do you know what I mean? And getting to prison camps, all kind of that. You know what?
This is her right here. She looks really young.
Yep, she looks like that. 20s.
And she's got purple eyes.
Yeah, she's in her 20s.
She's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Do you think, is she like an android or?
You know, from this point of view, respectively, in their reality, who the hell knows? This is crazy. I don't know what the heck should I think about her. She's crazy. Doing all kind of weird stuff.
Okay,
You
so
know. Because she doesn't look Japanese, but you know the bloodline was mixed. All kind of that was, I don't know what, like. And technically she was president in US, but the stuff is like she was, how can I say it, the word crap, this, you know, how can we call it properly? Once you go into this cryo chamber, you know, how can I say it?
yeah, to make her, she's from another time period and she's much older.
Yeah, cryo chambered. Yeah, she was like that, and then she was, how can I say it, get back, you know, and to be alive, and everything went terribly wrong.
You know,
And nobody wants to believe it, you know, that she became dictator.
last night I was working with a client and I heard cryogenics. And
Are
it
you?
did, I swear, yeah, and I was like, you know, and I have this person will definitely respond in the comments, but because I don't want to say her name because that was her private session, but I said cryogenics, and I said, and I have no idea. I said, I feel like this is something important, and so yeah, and that makes sense that this is coming up now.
Because how can I say it, like cryogenized, or do you know what I mean? I can't say it properly. So if anyone will make us correct, I don't know how can I call it properly. So okay, people, let's do it, because I don't know it. Like, you know, for me it's bad.
So there was a former President Blair who was struck ill in 2018, and Elizabeth was there to assume command.
Yep, of course. It's pretty obvious. I don't know what the heck should I think about all that stuff. It's bad. What do you think, isn't it?
Yeah, so by 2045, Kress was known for her honesty, fairness, and tough nature, serving to face any threats to the U.S. sovereignty, such as Arasaka. So then she must take over Arasaka or defeat them. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. You are goddamn right. Exactly.
Wow. But then how does that they're back in power in 2077?
Yes, because technically Yorinobu, the old guy, and all kind of those people, you know, it's like, how can I say, it's only the puppets in her hands, you know. I mean, sorry, the guy is Saburo, and Yorinobu is you know, his son, Hanako daughter, you know, like that.
Yeah, so they come back into power, but he lives long, Sabura. We're gonna get to him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that they are only puppets in this, you know, crazy process. I'm just saying, you know.
She doesn't, so she must lose her power at some point.
No, no, no. Once again, I am saying that they are only puppets in her hand. Hands, sorry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is not just that easy as we possibly believe. I'm just saying, you know. That's it.
And we also, Peter, we talked about Colorado today.
What?
You mentioned Colorado today.
Yeah?
And
Yeah,
she
do
was
you know
from
what? Do you
Colorado.
know what, Jessica? Do you know what? This is not fair. This is not fair. You know, this is not fair. People are laughing maybe like, what in the world are you talking about, guys? It's crazy. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Just say me, isn't it?
So this is a 2045, and 2047 is the birth of Jackie Wells, who's the
Yeah,
primary character here.
that's true.
They also say that 2030 to 2037, there's nomads and also mega building. They start rebuilding the cities after the dystopia. And then
Yep.
in 2062, in Haiti is abandoned because of natural disasters, and a majority of the Haitians move to America. And then, of course, they take over the Voodoo Boys. So then 2077, then that's where it starts with the focus on Night City as a focal
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, so the reason why I think I'm involved in this,
Go
you
ahead.
yeah, all right, so you told me that there was major issue from Murkoff from
Yep.
the video game Outlast, which talks about the
Jeez,
my
that's
lab.
that's that's one crazy story.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So in Outlast, and people that listen know we've told the story that I was taken into the my lab by the age of
Sorry, Jessica. Let me correct you. Not story. Story can be faked. We are
right.
talking about, how can I say it? Revelation. Revelation. Okay. We need to. How can I say it? We need to be precise about that. Okay. We need to be precise.
All right.
No,
So in
sorry. Go ahead.
Outlast, there is a my lab called the Murkoff, and there was an entity that came out of this called the Wall Rider. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yep. The corporation is called Murkov. Yep, you are right.
Murkoff.
Yeah, you are right.
And
Yeah.
somehow they put me in the core of the Wall Rider as a child. So my essence.
That's
because
true.
because of that, I my soul essence was then used and even sold,
Let's say misused. Let's say misused.
misused, and sold, and into different scenarios. One was I became an aspect of Jason Hudson from the Call of Duty
Yes. Call of Duty Cold War. Yes,
Cold
that's true.
War.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, we're going to get back to the game now.
Yeah.
And it was Alt Cunningham.
Jeez Christ. She's bad.
Yep, and that's in.
And technically, is she? Do you know what I mean? Like, what in the world? Because it's like help me, AI. Do you know it's like, isn't she? It's like how can I say it? Some sort of this discussion. Do you know what I mean? Like, if is she human? If it's she not? Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, well, she starts off being. So we can get into the characters now. So Johnny Silverhand, who's Keanu Reeves, is the primary character
Yes, that's true.
in or the personality here, and he is in a rock band called Samurai, and Alt Cunningham is his girlfriend at that time, and they have like one scene that plays out with Alt Cunningham and Johnny, and it's sort of like like a sex scene, and then it goes into something else where they have an argument, and she leaves, and then she gets abducted because
Yes, that's true.
and we're going to talk about why she was abducted, because she is, let's see, she's a runner, right?
Yes. Net runner.
A net runner. She famed for her
Maybe
skill as seeing software.
sorry. Can we get rid of this video, because technically, maybe we will get a copyright strike. Maybe that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know how to stop that. Let's see.
No, let's go just down. Scroll down. It will be not a
Okay.
big deal. Yep.
Okay. So she was introduced on Cyberpunk 2013 in the mini adventure Never Fade Away as the girlfriend of Rocket Boy Johnny Silverhand. She's described as a net runner and having developed Soul Killer program for the ITS Corporation.
Yep.
And it's a Soul Killer program is, let's see if that comes up.
If something comes up, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So the Soul Killer program. It was developed in the 120th floor of the Arasaka Towers in 2013. The Soul Killer virus is a program capable of creating digital emulations or a copy of a net runner's mind, utilizing an advanced matrix recorder, storing it in a huge database. It then wipes the original personality away, leaving a mindless husk that eventually dies. So it's exactly what it says. It's a soul killer.
Yeah, it is like that. Like it or not, it's soul killer. Literally soul killer. Yeah, you are right. And that's a problem.
Did I just... Oh, okay. All right. So let's see, where were we? Before being kidnapped by Arasaka, so she was running this program.
Yep.
And
That's
then
true.
she was the first victim of Soul Killer, and her consciousness exists only as a digital ghost on the net. So they actually had put that program in her, and is considered a central character and features prominently in the Cyberpunk story. So kind of present,
Yes.
but not there physically.
Yes, you are right. Technically some sort of mind extract, what turned into AI only. AI form of existence only.
Which is bad for me, because that's something in the future that's connected to me, right? Which I need to try to help correct or fix or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, trying to, like, memories are coming back about Jason Hudson, and I had a full memory, which I was thinking we might be sharing that soon.
Maybe that will be good idea.
Yeah. And so let's see. So this becomes a big problem from the beginning, where you have now all of these souls that become trapped in this area they're behind the black wall, right? They're kind of partitioned off.
True. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like a firewall.
Some sort of. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Uh-huh.
When she gets kidnapped, they force her to recreate the program for Arasaka. While captive, she rebuilt the software from memory, and though watched closely, she feared that Arasaka would test it on her to prevent that, she built a failsafe to ensure that she could make her escape. Having survived his injuries, a team led by Johnny Silverhand started a riot in the Arasaka complex with the legion of fans. Fearing the worst, Toshiro used the software on Alt, but before he was successful, she managed to fend off the attack, killing the Arasaka Netrunner team and incapacitating Toshiro's bodyguard Akira from within the Arasaka mainframe. Johnny detonated an explosive charge which gave Toshiro the chance to disconnect Alt from her body. Johnny killed Toshiro and left with Alt's lifeless body, unknowingly leaving her digital form behind.
Yep, that's true. That's how it happened, actually, and it's like, what in the world is that? Well, what do you think about those things? Because it's weird. I mean, from my point of view, everything of this is weird. It's like it shouldn't happen like that. It's like not okay. What do you think?
Well, the guy that started Arasaka, what is his name?
What?
Saburo?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
here's looking for
Saburo, yeah.
Saburo. Here he is.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
There was some pictures in here of him that he looked familiar to me, and I actually met someone that looked like him in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's jeez.
But he wasn't Asian.
Okay.
He was actually Armenian French. But
okay.
You know, some people, Caucasians, can almost look a little bit Asian.
That's true. Yeah.
And I was a friend with him because when I worked in a restaurants, this is when after my divorce, I was working in restaurants, and he, had quite a bit of money, and he had a group of friends, and I was invited to kind of hang out with his friends. And it was to go into the city, the really nice areas of Boston, and hang out.
And what happened next?
It didn't turn out very well because he wanted more than just friendship. And
oh no!
But I saw that he had other things going on. He was older than me.
What do you mean older? I mean like much older?
Yeah, much older. I mean, I was probably in my 30s, and I had gotten a divorce, and just working.
What like? How much older?
Maybe 30 years.
Oh, not okay.
I mean, whatever. I mean, people do that. It's just, it wasn't just his age. It was just, I mean, I could see him as a friend. I liked that he was intelligent. He could speak about 8 or 9 different languages. He's very, very intelligent.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, it was an interesting person. And so you're meeting all these different people from different, backgrounds or whatever. And, but he said to me something very interesting and made me think about this whole scenario. And I know this is some personal stuff, but maybe this will make sense. I don't care about talking about certain personal things because everyone has a history and different things have happened to people, especially if you're after a divorce. Sometimes you meet different types of people because you're, out trying to make money, and you just meet people. So, so he was trying to, kind of pressure me. And when I said no, and he said, well, we need to, he says, because he had a few drinks, and he looked me in the eye, and he said, my agreement with the devil is he brings the woman, and after I'm finished with them, I give them back to them.
Whoa, give me a second. What?
That's
what
do
you
mean?
I mean, I'm trying to get, but what the heck? Take it slower and say me. I don't know. It's like
He
I'm
said,
trying. Yeah.
I asked the devil to bring women to me, and when I'm finished with them, I give them back. I give them to the devil. Like, in other words, he has the power to draw them in, draw in females, and then when he's finished with them or he had sex with them, then he gives them back to the devil.
What? This is
That's what he said to me, and I looked at him and I said, "That's not happening."
what in the?
He got very angry, very, very angry. And because my personality, I don't like challenges like that. And it didn't work out well. So, but when I saw that, there was like a few pictures that I saw that I looked at him and I said, wow, he reminds me of this guy.
Jeez.
So do you
I'm
think it
just
was
saying
him?
this
Is
is.
it possible it was him?
Yep. Highly probable. You are right.
The way he talked and said something like that?
Yep. Definitely.
Because I always thought that was a strange statement to make to a person. And he was dead serious. He looked me right in the eyes and said it. And his eyes were very dark when he said it. And he was holding out, never forget, he was holding a very nice big glass of white wine while he was saying it.
What in the world?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So
I don't know.
I don't know if this is how I got pulled in. I mean, you don't know who you're interacting
Do
with.
you know what? Actually, this can be like that.
I
How
know.
you was pulled in all kind of that problem stuff. Exactly.
I
Yep.
mean, we would go into the city and I mean, there was no issue with money. We just, go get something to eat, have a few drinks, hang out with people, sit in the nicest places, be all dressed up. It was, I mean, people that are struggling, that was kind of a fun thing to do. But, everything comes with a cost, doesn't it? And
Mm-hmm.
especially if he took me into the future and all this other crazy stuff happening, that's pretty bad. Because maybe in a weird way, Peter, to some people with those type of personalities, if you say no to them, either they don't give up or they're very vengeful or both.
Do you know
Right?
what? That makes sense.
The ego. The ego is a
Exactly.
big issue.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, and
Very
I
big
just
issue. Yep.
bearing my soul again here. But I think if this helps people in the future, in the decisions that they make, because believe me, every time you say you want something, you want power, you want money, or whatever, this just think through what that might cost you. In the end, maybe that's where those Saturn prisons came in that we kind of talked about, and you don't know what you're getting hooked into. So
Exactly. It's like, exactly as you said.
yeah. That explains this whole thing with the Cyberpunk, but it doesn't explain what happened with the whole Jason Hudson scenario. I think that's a different something.
Yeah, but I think
Story.
it's like, not the stuff we need to talk about right now. Or
No,
should we?
no. I think I'm just saying, exiting from Wall Rider, that I don't know if what's his name again? Tush.
What? Just say me.
The guy over Arasaka.
You mean Saburo? And
Saburo.
then
I don't know why
Yorinobu,
I
and then
keep on.
Yorinobu. Yep, yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So Saburo, is it possible Saburo was also involved with me getting taken into all those wars with as Jason?
That's highly probable. Yeah,
Okay,
you are right.
and that's what I want to know. All right. So enough about me.
No, it's good because you said what you want to say. It's normal. It's not a big deal. At least I think.
Yep. This character right here I thought was interesting too. And she reminded me of this celebrity. What the
Which
heck is her
one?
name? This one right here.
I don't know the name.
And why is it I can't remember names here? All right, I'll get the name.
It's frequently open happened in our you know in our making of our videos.
Yeah, they just I don't know if I get upset or whatever, and it just blocks me. I'll get the name. But
Maybe.
so we have characters, other characters. Can you talk a little bit about Keanu Reeves' involvement? Because I mean, he plays a major role in this.
Yeah, and what do you mean? I mean, like, why especially him? You mean like that?
Yeah. You know, all the different. I mean, he pretty much is the focal point in this.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So, how is he involved? And because he's also like a ghost. I don't know how he becomes like a ghost, or he tunes into the minds of everyone that is involved.
Yes. It is because he is not from his reality. This reality. Sorry, I mean Keanu Reeves, and that's the part of soft disclosure. They want to give it out. You know.
He's not a
Not from
part.
this reality, not from this timeline, not pretty much not nothing. Give me a second. The actor, and that's the reason why they, how can I say it? Why they chose him? You know.
I mean, he's in a lot of sci-fi movies or time travel movies,
But
and
this is it. This is it. What I'm saying. That's the
yeah,
truth.
what reality is he from?
The one the he technically helped. You know, the second reality we are merging with.
Oh, okay.
He helped a lot of people, key people in access to one Second World War.
Yeah, because they show him that he has a history as being a part of the military, right?
Yep, that's true. I'm just saying, you know, it's that's good because actually it wasn't only they want the Axis won Second World War, but they prevented Third World War, all kind of that stuff. You know, it's crazy. Like,
So he's a part of. Is it the Nazi reality?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Originally born as Robert J. Linder, very well
He,
known, influential artist in America,
yeah,
ex-U.S. military veteran who defined the rocker boy movement in what is today. He was the lead singer of the band Samurai, and we mentioned that.
yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
you could see that whole thing that happened with Arasaka that we just talked about.
Yep, that's true. Do you know what? I'm really happy that we are making this special. I really like it.
Yeah, well, it's bringing. So this is also then Cyberpunk 2077 is also factoring in the merging of the Axis.
Yep, that's it.
That's what. All right. So do they have a lot of like androids and cybernetics and all that type of is transhumanism?
Yes, you are right.
So that's why that is merging. I mean, but we have it also here. I mean, there's a lot of the corporations already doing it here anyhow.
Yes, but they in their reality it's much, and I mean much more enhanced and advanced. Yep.
Do they have a lot of humans, just regular humans without these enhancements in the Axis?
Give me a second. What?
So does the Axis have just regular people as well, or are they all android type of cyborgs?
No, humans, cyborgs, all kind of that
Everything.
stuff. Yep, you can how can I say it? You can possibly imagine, you know, like that. And we need maybe to get through all of other characters. What do you think? It will work.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We have quite a few characters. Which one would you like to look at next, Peter?
Phew, any ideas?
Well, it's probably
Because
Jackie Wells is.
do you know what? Yeah, I want to say Jackie Wells. Why not?
Yeah, because he's a primary character, and just a reminder, where is it? Jackie Wells, Cyberpunk. Just a reminder that V is everyone takes on the name V, so he's the one that helps everyone when you
Yes,
first
you are
begin.
right. Yeah.
He's commonly known as Jackie, was a character in the video game, was one of V's early points of contact as well as the player's partner during several missions.
Yeah, and he was killed because, you know, of bad start of not bad start of the game once a gamer don't give it right, but it was designed, the game was designed like that, you know, it's bad.
Or did that actually happen?
Yes, you are right.
They say he spoke in Spanish. He was part of, what used to be a part of the Scavengers? No, the Valentinos, right? Would he have been a part of?
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Those are some of the groups or clubs or however you want to call it. And doesn't like the Scavs or the Scavengers.
Yeah, like that.
Born in 2047, so he's like a key point in time. He's one of the characters that they look at, and his father, will get drunk and beat him. He was hospitalized. He grew up in the same streets with Misty. Was Misty his girlfriend?
Yep, exactly.
And the two saw each other. They never, though they never got together. Jackie joined the Valentinos.
Exactly. As you said, respectively.
Look at the Valentinos.
Red, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Valentinos are a poser gang dedicated to seducing the most attractive woman in Night City, the most unobtainable. She appears to be the more attractive a target she makes. They do not maintain any turf and have no goals outside of seducing women. That's why they call themselves Valentinos.
Exactly, as you said, technically, as you read. Sorry, my bad.
Yep. Okay. And but I mean, you wouldn't want to fight them or anything either, though, right? They still can cause problems, right? Just like all the other clubs, they're not like an easy pushover. And we'll take a look at Misty, his girlfriend, or the girl that he cares about, and she looks like Daryl Hannah's role in what is the name of that? That was another one that I don't have the name of.
Yeah, but technically that's the stuff. It's actually people can see or hear that it is not so 100% prepared because we are always improvising. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean we try because you never know what direction we're going to go into, and then I have to remember certain things, and of course the mind wiping doesn't help at all. So it was a futuristic movie that Daryl Hannah was in, and I will get that. And I'm looking through all of her movies right now.
Yep.
And she did quite a bit of movies.
Quite a bit. Yep. Yeah.
But anyhow,
So,
we can cover her.
yeah, I think that Dexter Deshawn is important character. What do you think? Because I think we covered alt, and we can go to Dexter Deshawn. What do you think, huh?
Yep. Here's Dexter Deshawn.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Now you said, is he connected to Shaw House or?
Yes, but technically he's African American, right? But originally he's part of Show House. It's crazy. It's like, what in the world? I don't like this stuff at all. Nope. So sometimes they are making changes in games, I mean in TV shows, in movies, in order not to be so 100% precise.
Right. But they use different bodies too, don't they?
Yep, exactly as you said. Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of the different confusion comes in. People don't know how to look for people. And I remember. So it was Blade Runner, the character that we were just looking at, Misty. Misty looks like Blade Runner.
Exactly as you said. Yep.
And just, I did read a little something about Al Cunningham, and Al Cunningham supposedly was created to look like Carol Alt, who was a famous model. But Carol Alt doesn't look. I don't think Carol Alt looks like the character. It looks a little bit more like me. And I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That was a little weird to me. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's other pictures of Al Cunningham, but yeah, it was kind of weird.
Oh, you are right. Yep, you are right.
All right, so here's Dexter Deshawn. He's a fixer.
If you want to
In
call
Night
it
City.
that way, fixer.
Yeah. What would you define a fixer as, Peter?
Fixer is someone who is getting rid of problems, glitches, and all kind of that stuff, and making deals. Do you know what I mean? Like deals. Do you know what I mean? Like deals,
Yeah.
like main business, if you want to call it that way. Yep.
It says that he is one of the best known, other than Rogue Amendiaris.
Yeah.
That's that woman, right?
Exactly.
But not quite on her level. He was known to select mercs for gigs and based on his intuition, and did not have a regular crew. Dex left town for several years on what is rumored to have been a vacation, but according to Royce, he had ruined half of Pacifica and made a lot of powerful enemies who wanted him dead. So then he was contracted by Evelyn Parker to steal the relic from Yorinobu Arasaka, and so she could sell it to Netwatch. And he hired a T-Bug and Jackie Wells and V to handle the heist on Kopeki Plaza, but insisted on limiting their cut of the payroll or payout to a mere 30% since they were new on the scene. So he created some problems.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's best in that. That's true.
And Evelyn Parker, she's like some kind of from the corporations, right?
Yeah, just click on that and we can see. Yep, you are right.
And that's Evelyn Parker.
Yeah.
I think she's also eligible for relationships too.
Let's say she's dull. That means like how can I say that, like fancy lady, if we wanna call it in pleasure way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, she looks like a corporate person when you see her in some of the scenes, doesn't she?
Yep, you are right.
Dressed up like in a suit and all that stuff. But yeah, high level. Evelyn is eventually located by her friend Judy Alvarez, which gives you a hint that they're also into kind of that side agenda, or could have an affair with her. So she's part of that.
Yeah, you are goddamn right. Yep.
And there's so many names here, but we're trying to go over like some of the basic ones, the primary ones. There's also And here they talk about Pacifica, which is another region.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Region of Night City, as you said.
yep.
Yep.
And so we just looked at Evelyn Parker. Okay. So we'll keep going. And then here's Militech is one of the major corporations, as well as
Absolutely.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, Militech, Maelstrom. Yeah, you are right. Exactly, as you said.
Okay, so should we look at these? Is Flathead also a corporation?
Yeah, technically, once you want to completely, quotes in quotes, erase someone, they are doing it flat-headed, you know.
Okay, so the things that they can do here is really frightening. You know that this is the Militech Corporation. This is a corporation that we want to keep an eye on. This is supposedly, is this from the United States?
Yep.
And some of these corporations could be influencing our reality now.
Definitely, it is not like they can. They are doing it, you know, and that's
All right.
the problem. That's the problem.
I don't know if we have permission to talk about it, but
That's the that's the stuff that we are. How can I say it? We don't want to sabotage or jeopardize mission because it will be like, what in the world? We don't. You know what I mean? Like, definitely not.
okay. So
Like, but let's say that they are high influences. Let's say influences on high levels. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
right, which is the stuff that we're dealing with in our reality now. Militech International Armaments is a mega corporation specializing in weapons, manufacturing, and private military contracting. Militech is one of the world's largest manufacturers of weapons and military vehicles with facilities in every continent.
But I don't wanna say vehicles or so only. They are doing pretty much everything, like Monarch. Do you know what I mean? Or Mobius or something like that.
The corporation provides equipment for hundreds of nations, as well as both private and governmental organizations, especially the U.S. military and police forces. This equipment includes, but is not limited to, personal firearms, drones, tanks, aircraft, ships, and assisted combat personal armor. So you can see the importance of this group and how that they have a huge impact on the reality. An alternate branch of the corporation provides private military forces for the purposes of defense, peacekeeping, and nation-building missions. However,
I am laughing.
let's just say peacekeeping. I know.
This is like, what in the world are they talking about?
I guess from that perspective, that they call those peacekeepers, don't they? Some people call it guns of peacekeeper.
Do you know what? Technically, yes, you are right.
Yeah.
It is like that. Yep.
And let's see, nation-building missions. However, these forces have been used to aid terrorist organizations and military coups in the past. I mean, we're kind of getting an idea of the influence of what we're talking about.
Definitely, this is it, as you said. Yep.
In 1997 to 2020, which is our present time, founded initially in 1996, Italian weapons designer Antonio Lucchesi. Armatech Lucchesi International Militech is known today, began its journey with the 1998 trials for the new standardized U.S. infantry assault weapon. Despite continued bankruptcy and ongoing recovery from the economic collapse of 1994, the U.S. government decided the time had come to replace the aging and obsolete M16A2. The trials ultimately revealed 3 finalists: the FNSAP, a cheap but clunky and unreliable weapon considered mainly due to powerful ties between the company Fabrique
Yep.
International and the U.S. government, as well as its ammunition and parts of compatibility with other members of the by then defunct NATO alliance, the Colt AR-17X, and a good but expensive weapon, and a submission by newcomer Armatech Lucchesi International, a compact and reliable and moderately priced rifle. So
I think that it's not that necessary to go in such details, but
yeah,
I'm
it's a
just thinking.
lot. Well, it's an interesting to see that they're very, very in depth in, and you can read more about some of their military contracts and some of their goals, the weaponry and so forth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like it's very, very involved in Militech, and it's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And look who's here. There's President Kress.
Yes.
And
I'm just saying we are pretty much getting out of time, running out of time, so maybe we can make part 2 if you want to. What do you think?
we have one more. Let's just bring up Rogue.
Okay.
And so we'll say we covered Johnny, Rogue, and Jackie Wells. And these are the Rogue integrates and gets into Arasaka. That's why she's very important.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's involved during the Fourth Corporate War. Yeah, she did the raid on the Arasaka Tower. Johnny Silverhand went directly to her to ask for help. So she's very good at what she does. So and she's there also with Santiago. They were hitmen and bodyguards being reputed to be the best at that time.
Yeah, that's true. But she's, doing all kind of that stuff, making, as you said, assassinations, mercenary contracts, all kind of those things, as you said. Yep.
And Santiago does the same thing with her, right? He works with her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
Okay.
as you said.
All right, so I guess this is the first part. All of this is relating to the many circumstances that are happening on the planet, even the U.S. And even though it's you can't make the connection at this point, maybe if you start looking at how the bleed-throughs are working and how some of this is not making any sense, that's why we're doing this.
Yes, exactly.
We're not avoiding what's going on in world events. We're actually trying to reveal what's behind. It's like what's behind the door. That's behind the door. That's behind the door, and that is influencing
behind the curtain, if you want to call it.
Behind the curtain, or behind, in this case, the black wall.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, Peter. Thank you, and we'll probably, we'll be going in a little bit more into this, and I appreciate you sharing and taking your time and explaining to me the importance of this game as being very much soft disclosure, especially related to what's going on in our world today.
It was very good on one hand, but more it was important, very important on the other hand, to share this stuff with people, because it's, let's say, it's stuff people need to realize, if you want to call it that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm really happy and thankful to you that you gave me another opportunity to be on your channel, and I'm looking forward for Cyberpunk 2077 Special Part 2. So thank you very much, people, for your attention, and till next time. Bye bye.
Okay, bye, and thank you, everyone. Continue to stay tuned, and we will keep you updated.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyariel.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All the links can be found in the description. Thank you.